need you to trust me. One last time.
So I just came from watching Mission Impossible 8, also known as Mission Impossible The Final Reckoning, which is a follow-up of the previous film, which was Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning. This is going to be a non-spoiler review of this film if you have not watched it. First off, this movie is long. This movie is 3 hours. I did not know that it was going to be 3 hours. It is pretty long. So let's say the first hour is like the beginning, and then the second hour is like the middle, and then the last hour is like the third section, the third act, right? The second hour is, to me, was kinda meh. Meh. I'm saying it's kinda meh because the characters do this thing where they explicitly explain what the plan is going to be, and then the movie kind of goes kind of like how they said it would go, sort of. So it's kind of like the characters spoiled the story. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say here. Typically in movies, when characters say they're going to do A, B, C, D, that's not how things go. Typically things go south, or they end up having to sort of compromise or having to adjust what they were planning to do something else. But in this movie, the second section, the second hour, things kind of go the way exactly as they said they would. I mean, there are some minor inconveniences here and there, but no major hiccups in my opinion. And well, maybe it's because the movie would have run longer if they experienced a lot of inconveniences in the second hour of the movie. But wow, the amount of exposition in this film. You just have characters expositing. Now, I understand maybe the reason why characters have to exposit is because some people may not watch Mission Impossible 7. They may jump straight into 8. But wow, the amount of times a character just looks at the screen and begins just saying stuff about the previous film or about previous films. It surprised me. Characters expositing is not bad, but is not but when they do it too much, they become like plot machines. Instead of being characters, they just become plot machines to explain what the plot is. So in this film, I found the second act, which is the second hour, to be like meh. And then the third act, which is the third hour, was the one which I found to be pretty good. It was pretty intense. They sort of raise the stakes and everything becomes very tense. Angela Bassett is in this movie. She plays the President of the United States of America. For those of you who don't know, the premise of this movie is that there's an AI from the previous movie, and that AI is known as the Entity, and it is trying to grab a hold of the nuclear arsenals of, US, China, the countries that have nuclear weapons. And the Entity wants to release them and destroy the world. That's basically what's happening. So in the third act, things become pretty intense. If I compare Mission Impossible 8 and Mission Impossible 7, I think I prefer the previous one. I think I prefer Dead Reckoning, simply because this movie has this Mission Impossible 8 has a lot of really good stunts, but the stunts in the previous film were way more memorable than this one. I mean, in the previous film, there are so many things I remember fondly, and it's been a while since I watched that one. There's this one where Tom Cruise's character and this other character called Grace, they're in a car chase in a small yellow car. And then there's this one where they're in a train. And then there's this one where Tom Cruise's character gets on a bike and then jumps off like a ramp. So there are way more memorable stunts in the previous film compared to this one. This one also has some really nice stunts, but I prefer the previous one. Also, there's no development for the villain in this film. If you watch the villain in Mission Impossible 7, his name is Gabriel. If you watch Gabriel in Mission Impossible 7, he comes off like a mustache twirling villain, and even in this movie, he's just a mustache twirling villain. So he doesn't really grow, and he's just meh. Out of 10, I'd give the whole movie like a 7 out of 10. It's not anything revolutionary. It's not anything that really blows up in terms of what Mission Impossible has done. Like I said, I prefer the previous film to this one. This one was just okay. just say it was okay. I prefer Dead Reckoning compared to Final Reckoning. In fact, in this movie, Final Reckoning, there's a part, it's in the trailer, there's a part where you see Tom Cruise's character chasing some dude in a plane. And, well, there's this Mission Impossible Fallout. In Mission Impossible Fallout, the one that has Henry Cavill, there's, in the third act, they also have a chase scene like that where two guys chase each other, but in Mission Impossible Fallout, it was choppers. And in this movie, it's like small planes. So I was like, this stunt they're doing in this movie, Mission Impossible 8, it's kind of just like the one they did in Mission Impossible Fallout, you know. So in this film, I didn't feel like there's anything groundbreaking they're doing. And apparently, this is supposed to be the last movie. Probably not. I mean, this was a good movie. It was okay. That's why I'm giving it a 7 out of 10. But I don't feel like it really moved, to the next step. It didn't upgrade from the previous ones that I've watched, but it was okay. For more reviews, make sure to check out these ones on screen. Tell me what you thought about Mission Impossible 8 if you've seen it. Angela Bassett moved from Queen of Wakanda to President of the US. That's very interesting. I'll see you in the next one.